to this dialogue on the India and Middle East. I don't know first to call opportunities and challenges or challenges and opportunities. because so first of all, I think my job is to introduce the topic. Okay. Uh, Middle East, as you know, it is the countries around Arabian Peninsula. There are about 26, 27 countries. Am I audible to all? Okay. The countries are Bahrain, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Yemen, Turkey, Cyprus, Egypt, Israel, Palestine, and Lebanon. India has traditional relations with this part of the world. Hundreds of years back, from the Malabar coast of Kerala, people used to board on small boats, wooden planks. There were no passports, no visas, and they just used to cross the Arabian Sea and land there and start working there. I remember in late 1960s, in the External Affairs Ministry, we were giving passports, Indian passports, to thousands of people who had gone from Kerala in similar ways and settled in UAE or elsewhere. So they were granted Indian passport because they had no documents. So, and the relations are so ancient that people from that part of the world used to come here, and from here they used to go there very often. Our topic is India and Middle East. This area earlier was called Near East, as comparison to Far East. Far East is Japan and others, Near East. Even now, the Middle East is the nomenclature given by the Western world. From us, in the External Affairs Ministry, we mostly called it West Asia. The West Asian countries. So, the area has 4 major languages: Arabic, Persian in Iran, Turkish in Turkey, and Hebrew in Israel. These are the 4 languages which are spoken in this area. But there are so many other languages that you are comfortable in many countries, even with Punjabi. So our people have gone there and taken their languages also. The area of the whole area is about 72 million square kilometers, and compare it to India's about 3.287 million, and that is 7 million, more than double. The area-wise, it's more than double. Population-wise, we in India are 140 crores, and they are a little less than 40 crores. So this provides opportunities. Area is there, petrol is there, job opportunities are there. So these are the opportunities in that area. As regards population, now Egypt, Turkey, and Iran are most populated in the area. As you know, Egypt is partly in Africa, partly linked to this part of the world. 4 religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, originated 3 religions. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam originated from Middle East. That way, Middle East is as rich as India, because India, how many religions originate? Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, all religions originated from here. And that side, 3 religions originated from that area, which spread to the Western world also. India has always enjoyed very close and friendly relations with most of these countries. We have a trade of about US dollars 110 billion, which is quite an amount. And energy imports from this area are about 70%. 70% of our petrol comes from this part of the world. 66% of our NRIs settled in these countries, particularly in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman, and Bahrain. There are about 8 to 9 million Indians settled in this part of the world. And mind you, their remittances to India are around $90 billion out of the total remittances which we receive of 112 billion from the rest of the world. All countries combined, 90 billion remittances come from this part of the world which we are talking today. Politically, as you all know, Palestine and Israel are in conflict. Israel-Gaza problem is continuing. Our policy is we support the Palestinian cause while maintaining good relations with Israel. Now, what are the opportunities? Employment in banking sector, in services, in travel sector, in real estate, in business are galore in this area. For example, if you want to go and settle a business in UAE, all that you require is a local partner. You have to keep a local partner, give him some amount of money, and if you can make profit, it's yours. Taxation is low. But challenges are the laws are very harsh and they are more harsh in compliance. One has to lead according to the laws there, but life is very peaceful. I have visited UAE and Kuwait several times. Life is very peaceful, quiet, no thefts, nothing like of that kind. But the laws are strict. Following. I think that's mostly the thing. And now, Arabian Peninsula, if there's a map, I could have explained it to you. Yeah, that's Middle East. Now, most of you must be knowing what is peninsula. How many of you know? Good. Peninsula is a land mass which is mostly surrounded by water. Now, the Arabian Peninsula, you will see Arabian Sea is one side, the Bay of the Gulf of Oman, the Gulf of Red Sea, but at the same time it's connected with land also. These are gulfs which get into the land. So there are Gulf of Aden, Gulf of Oman, Gulf of Yemen, Arabian Sea, Red Sea, all these seas are around. Around there, Turkey is there, a little far away. Turkey doesn't speak Turk. They have their own language, they're not Arabic. Syria is a little disturbed area because you might have heard of Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, which is a bit of terrorist organization. Similarly, there is Yemen, in which Houthis are there. They are Shiites, supported by Iran. They are also getting some difficulties. Otherwise, if you see, I think many of you might have visited UAE. The life is peaceful. There is no religious hatred. For example, one of the largest temples is coming up in Abu Dhabi. In Dubai, you will have Gurdwara, you have temple, you have mosque, all side by side, no problems. They don't want you to create any problems. They don't have any problems. So people live in peace and harmony. So there are opportunities galore. I think for our students, it's worth visiting, particularly UAE, sometimes in a delegation, and see for yourself the opportunities. Many people have just gone with 2 bags and made millions and millions of dollars there. So opportunities are there, petrodollars are there, there's money. Similarly, from that side, there is petrodollars which can be invested in India. It's not only one way, there is medical tourism. Many people from this part of the world come to India for treatment because India treatment, the dates are fast to receive and treatment is cheaper. There is a lot of tourism. Dubai International Airport is one of the busiest ports in the world. The advantage is this, when the aircraft go from there, here from India, fly, most of from these countries, the aircrafts fly and stop there because they fill up oil, which is cheaper there than other ports. Similarly, there is the seaport at Dubai is very prominent port because the ships go there, they leave their containers, and the containers then go to different directions from there. From Dubai, you will see ships going to all directions. So, for trade, for shipping, for tourism, for banking sector, for other service sectors, this is an area where the opportunities are there. The challenges, I won't say many. The challenges, of course, there is a little disturbance in that area. And as you say, if one part of the world sneezes, the others catch cold. So if something happens there, even we are influenced by that. So there are sometimes occasional disturbances. This as at present, Israel, Gaza problem is going on. Similarly, Iraq, Syria issue has going on. So these are challenging, but they don't affect the normal life, particularly in the Gulf countries. So we welcome our distinguished guests. I think by way of introduction, uh, this is all that I had to say. We'll have ample opportunities of discussing the issue further. I think you can call the next speaker.
Hello, friends. It's such a pleasure when you participate in an activity when it is done the first time. And the MERI management has taken this initiative of starting the MERI dialogues. Just like Shangri-La dialogues or other well-known dialogues we have at different places. Oxford Students' Union organizes it, Cambridge Students' Union organizes it. I heard one of the Harvard Business School 6 days ago exactly on the same subject, which I'll share a few lines about. And one hopes, one wishes, one thinks, why not? Why should our dialogues in the education institutions not be of that order? So it's very good that with Mr. Goel's push from both the management side as well as in his own capacity, he painted this picture of Middle East with a very wide paintbrush, and we understand it better. We understand why it is West Asia or it is not, or it is Middle East and it is not, why it is Arab countries and it is not, why it's Sunni or Shia or Turkish and not, and what does it mean, and where do all these problems come from? Major problem, Palestine problem, since about 100 years now. Conflict has been going. It's one of the longest conflicts ever which takes place. And why does it take place? Those three religions are there. They were born there in that particular land. Everybody loves it, likes it, respects it, and so on. But that is still the epitome of conflict. And that is the task of senior people like Mr. Dudani, Mr. Mehta, and others who advise us in terms of what kind of framework we should have to look at. Now, these frameworks are required from geopolitical analysis point of view, from political point of view, of course, from the point of view of foreign services, how they improve the relationships from diplomatic point of view. And they are important from the economics point of view, the management point of view, where a number of questions were raised after they have laid out what is Middle East and specifically in Saudi Arabia. Of course, just Saudi Arabia, even though quite large in oil, is not the only country. Population is still very small. We're talking about 27 countries and 40 million population. Yes, a place like Oman looks very small. A place like Bahrain looks very small. But if you look at their economic output still, they are substantial, maybe half of our state, one of the states, biggest states and so on. Everybody has given their impressions of what was there in 15 years ago, 25 years. I'm told things have changed quite a bit. Look at the World Cup organized at UAE. It could have been organized in any European country or anywhere else, both in terms of logistics and in terms of social relationships and so on. So things are changing. So maybe Dubai is like Bombay, and we still would have some places, I don't want to name them, in India, which would be very, very backward. My tip-off in terms of analyzing this area was, Bahrain, I think I went about 10, 15 years ago. And there was still old Indian rupee, silver coins roaming around. I said, what is this? He says, we had this currency till 65, till we became independent. Correct me, yeah. Okay. So the British Indian rupee, the silver, our silver rupee, which you used to like, which our grandmothers used to give us as gift, or at least to the daughters-in-law, I was still hanging around. They said this was the Indian rupee in about 18 countries of what you see now, and is still applicable. Okay. Now, we come to, in terms of the commercial relationships, this mutual trade currencies, okay, sometimes called de-dollarization, not very exactly. 18 countries with India already now have these mutual currency relationships, including UAE, which means the transaction will take place in rupees. Few days ago, Saudi Arabia and China went into that operation of yuan as an operation for the oil trading. So, in a sense, things are changing. The opportunities are very much there at it, pointed out by people who are very, very experienced in the area. And anywhere else, yes, there are some problems, but problems also become opportunities. So if you go country by country, not just by Oman, and why Oman is not big, also whether it matters or not, I'll come to it. That when you study BRI in this area, it comes from Kashgar to Lahore, etc., down to Gwadar. Gwadar port was, till the BRI project started, property of Oman Sultan. Okay, be that as it may, it's very well located. It's a $74 billion project. It's not working. And in the end, I would say it's a management problem. It's a management problem. They have not been able to handle certain things right. The Baluchis on one hand and the Kashmiris of the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir on the other, from near where it starts. Bottom line, it's a fantastic infrastructure project. Why should we criticize it? China is putting up its money. They are not putting up our money. If Gwadar port is operational, we get connected easily from the west coast. Cars go there, Gwadar, Afghanistan, Central Asia. Our route is clear. However, there are these two other corridors which have been worked out very well. I think India has a lot of contribution to make, but the other countries too. Just on the sidelines of G20, somebody asked a question about IMEC project, the India, Middle East, European corridor project. Now remember, it's a corridor, to which briefly I'll come to. And India has allocated something like 14,000 crore rupees for railway networks to come to the port, from where it will go to one of the ports of Saudi Arabia. They are then supposed to spend the money to put a railroad via Jordan, and it goes to Haifa. That Haifa part of the project, by the way, goes through Gaza. It goes through Gaza. Now, why Haifa, and why has it become an Indian port? It's an Indian port. It's very much in interest of India that this problem is sorted out. That this becomes operational from Haifa to Piraeus, that is the Greek port, which is mostly owned by China. Even in Haifa, China has put in some equity now. Why I'm stating it? Because of this little war, IPS conflict, there have been a number of quote-unquote positive, unfortunately, but positive impacts on us. 100,000 Palestinians have been chucked out, and 100,000 Indians are being invited as a labor to work on construction projects. Point number one. Point number two, again yesterday, Europe, additional sanctions on Russia, that their diamonds cannot be imported, but they would still like to be in that business. So where will they come from? Why Israel? Or why Israel oblique India? Already the cutting industry is here. Okay. Now, sometimes one asks, we were so pro-Palestinian, and rightly so. On a humanitarian point of view, rightly so. Whether we do the full political analysis, how we do it, is a different matter. But this is the first time when Indian government pulled its hand back and did not openly support Palestine, including in the UN, as it would have. Now, if you look at it from economic point of view, India would have been a loser. Israel has already become one of the major weapon supplier to India. Okay, we have actually now become dependent on it. Of course, between Israel and India, we dominate the diamond industry in the world, at least the lower and the lower middle end, right? Uh, there are a number of other things, artificial intelligence, whatnot, so on. Even chips. So our relationship with Israel during last 10, 15 years has really expanded. It has impacted our relationship with the rest of Israel. Then the religion comes and other things come. Having said this, I think some boys asked this question about IMEC. There's the other north-south corridor, which is starting from Iran, which is the port. I think you will remember. No, Odisha is there in Black Sea, but Iran, Chabahar port, yes. Chabahar port, already 2 berths have been given to India. So we take our stuff from, again, West Coast to Chabahar, and from Chabahar, we have the railway, in which we have invested 1,200 crore rupees. Mr. Vajpayee was the one who signed that contract, and it's almost over. Then, of course, it goes to St. Petersburg from there, which means we have this through connection to Russia on one hand, via Iran, and then via Iran to Afghanistan. So the first wheat shipment to Afghanistan, humanitarian one, has taken place through this route. Now, there are very few people who are aware that India is already sitting on top of these, in a sense, top of these networks. And the IMEC project will be where the corners are the nodes, right? Hence, we should study, we should look at it, and we should study the rest of the geography and all that, as very well pointed out. And all it means is, my summary is that I think we have made a start. We should have more sessions. We should have country by country. We should look at the region. At least I have not, sir. I hope. Thank you very much.